Obviously I can still feel my knee. It'd be weird if I couldn't feel my knees. But welcome back to JC Performance Coaching, or welcome if this is the first video you've watched. I thought, given that we are now 3 weeks out from the first Backyard Ultra, and you can see me starting to get stuff prepared, which is going to be a video in and of itself another day with what's in these boxes. But I thought it'd be cool, self-indulgent, a good idea to walk you through what a week of training looks like. Now, obviously, being the professional I am, I picked the week that we decided to go away to Centre Parcs. However, I think this is a good one for those times where, you know, you might have a trip away planned and it might not be perfect training, but you do have a big event coming up. So for me, it was like, I don't really want to use the gym there because actually I want to be spending as much time with my family as possible. But while my daughter's having naps, it's a very reasonable time for me to nip out into the woods for an hour and go run in circles. So that's what I did. I managed to get a run done before I went. I got 2 runs while I was there with some plyometrics. I just done like on my runs. And then I've also got 2 runs done when I was back. So the layout of the week was threshold session at the start of the week, 2 easy sort of zone 2 runs while we were at Centre Parcs, which was lovely. Managed to make the most of the terrain over there as well with a few hills. Short tempo efforts, which was very good. 3 lots of 3Ks. And then into a long one this morning. So yes, this is being filmed in retrospect. Again, ever the professional. But enjoy seeing what a week of training while we're away looks like. I've got some meaty training weeks, which I'll talk about a little bit later in the video coming up, which I'm very excited to share about, but that's one for later. Now, this session was pretty simple. It was 3 lots of 8 minutes at my threshold pace, which was about a 4 minute to 4:20 pace, and then 2-minute float in between. So relatively straightforward, really good session. Before I get into more training, you can enjoy this slight intermission of me being an absolute master captain of the ship. But really, the running I did while I was at Centre Parcs, I never thought I'd be one of those people that I saw running around the park. But I actually really enjoyed it, and it was done at really sort of peaceful times of day. One at the start of the day, one at the end of the day, dawn and dusk, if you like. And thoroughly enjoyed them both. It was really nice to get into the woods. Really nice to just have a little trot about and stretch my legs. And last but not least, 3 lots of 3K tempos, which was probably the best session of the week. Felt awesome. Knee held up really well. 12K worth of running in the bag. I got absolutely nailed by a bug during that run. Horrible sensation in my eye for most of that. But I think that pace, according to Strava, was the fastest I've run a tempo session in, well, certainly in the last month or so, which is great. I've got one more session to do this week, and I'm feeling very confident going into next week now. I think this is the first time this year where, even though there's times where I still like feel my knee, I can still feel a little bit of a sensation there. Obviously I can still feel my knee. It'd be weird if I couldn't feel my knees. But I can still feel a little bit of sometimes like either tenderness or something temporarily after one of these runs. But performance has been getting better and better and better, and it's not getting any worse. And it's certainly not holding me back from doing it. And I think this is a big confidence boost for me. And I'm just about to relay it to my coach as well, who I know will also be pleased with this, because we've got a big build coming up over the next couple of weeks. And we are exactly 3 weeks out from the first race. So it's starting to get nervy, but this is the exciting bit too, right? Like, this is what we do it for. So very pleased with that run. I've only done running and plyos this week, but it's felt good. It's just been like, here's what I can manage. I wouldn't consider myself someone who needs a lot of strength work at this point. This is not blowing my own trumpet, because I'm certainly not my strongest, but I'm probably, certainly on average, a lot stronger than most runners, because I've got a massive amount of time in strength sports, playing rugby for 10 years and then powerlifting, bodybuilding, everything in between. Strength training has never been a weakness for me, so I'm not worried about not having that in for the week, and we've got enough in over the coming weeks to make sure I'm robust enough going into these races. So yeah, very excited. But now it's time, because we've had a bit of a poorly boy here. Poor lad. I've got to go get him some probiotics, because he's got a bit of an upset tummy, and he's got some very big puppy dog eyes on at the moment, don't you? Big lad. Hey? Look at him. Look at how glorious he is. We've got some very big puppy dog eyes because we left Dad a horrible present this morning, didn't we? Huh? We did. but he's gorgeous. So he gets away with it. So I best go crack on. And then it's an absolutely massive dinner. The theme of the week being on holiday, mostly pastries and lots of carbs anyway, so suits me down to the ground. One more run for this week to wrap it up. Tomorrow morning, early doors, 2 hours before the baby wakes up. That is the key. And then it is done for the day, done for the week, straight into a big build next week, which I'm very excited to share with you, and is actually going to be over 2 videos because there's a really, really exciting weekend session coming up next weekend. And it's going to be pretty wild fitting it all in. That deserves a video on its own. So I will see you after the next run. I just had to stop mid-run and appreciate that amazing sky. Last run of the week. We are running it in the dark at 5:15. I'm an hour and 10 minutes in here. Not the most pleasant of times to run of the day. Well, I don't know, you tell me. It's pretty glorious, but obviously probably I'd rather have been in bed right now. But gonna have to get used to running at weird times and with a head torch on, so what better time than right now? Anyway, we're clocking up a decent amount of kilometres this morning. Should finish just shy of 20, maybe around the sort of 18-ish mark. And that takes the weekly mileage this week up to 55k, I think, which is very pleasing, given it's been a bit of a down week being on holiday. So, yeah. There we go. Turns out it is still doable to do all your running while you're away, especially if it's in a lovely woodland like the one that we were in. Anyway, I'm going to get this run wrapped up and to see you while I'm eating my breakfast. I do find it funny that at this time in the morning you get what I call the 3Ds of people out and about. You get drunkards, dealers, and dog walkers. Usually dog walkers with potentially quite dangerous dogs, because why else would you be walking them at 4:30 in the morning in the pitch black? Welcome to the tunnel art, by the way. But just getting towards the finish now, and having to potentially do my usual, as the baby starts to stir, loop around the house, see how much of this run we can get done without having to make up for it later. But just look, what a lovely way to finish the week and start the day. Ended up at 18.5k this morning, and whilst I could video myself eating this bowl of muesli, I've got a toddler who's awake, so I need to go give her milk while I eat this. But that's this week's training wrapped up. Decent bit of mileage, very exciting weeks coming up. Bit nervous about, as you kind of should be in the build up to a big race. But I'm very, very excited, as I mentioned in a previous clip, to show you these. So make sure you stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next video.